everybody, how are you guys doing? So in about 575 days, Evan will be turning 40. As you know, we have several different goals we're trying to work through before that time. It's been a little crazy the last couple of weeks. Sorry I haven't updated you. We just got back from going to Dauphin Island off the coast of Alabama, which was a lot of fun. The ocean was great, and we got to go to the ocean about 3 times a day. It was lovely. We woke up in time to go walk the beach at sunrise, and then we came back, and the kids were usually awake by the time we got back, and then we went to the beach again shortly afterwards. After pretty much we came back, got everybody dressed, and then headed back to the beach, and then went again around sunset. So it was beautiful. The only thing that was a little frustrating and difficult was that I dislocated my hip while I was down there. Fortunately, my body lasted fine until the last day, so that was a huge blessing, because if I would have been in that much pain the whole trip, that would not have been any fun at all. I'm doing okay. I'm still recovering a little bit. It's not nearly as much pain as I was in while we were down there, and then of course sitting in the car for 12 hours or whatever. That definitely did not help things. I saw my chiropractor yesterday and I feel better. Not 100%, but better. So, progress, right? Learning to love the plateau. And actually, I've been continuing to read through that mastery book. I feel like it's such slow going because there's something on every page that I'm like, this thing that just changes the way that I think about things. As far as our business stuff is going, just the updates of how things are going. As far as our business stuff is going, I'm still working on the website. Evan's still working on the mind maps. I don't know. It's been a very frustrating process. I think I'm learning that I have to just go straight to the help desk, like right away, instead of trying to figure out why things are not working, and I just don't know enough programming to be able to pull that off. So maybe in future it will be faster, because it's just been a very difficult, frustrating round of spending, we have about an hour a night to work on things, and I feel like I spend most of the time researching, trying to figure out why what I'm trying to do isn't working, or how I can do it anyway, workarounds, stuff like that. I did finally get some help from the help desk at our theme this morning, actually. It was great. So hopefully, I don't know, move forward on that. It just feels like a lot of roadblocks and a lot of pushing through infinitesimally slowly. So hopefully we'll make progress on that. We'd really like to launch our class. Well, we really wanted to launch our class in March, but hopefully in June at the latest we'll have it. Well, I guess it'll have to be June at this point because it's already the end of May, but in June, theoretically, that's what we're aiming for. Health-wise, like I said, I dislocated my hip, and cold showers are going okay. I have learned cold showers in the summer are very different than cold showers in the winter. It's been really interesting because I never thought I would take a cold shower and be like, this isn't quite cold enough. But part of the way the Wim Hof method works is you get your body cold enough to where you're actually shivering, and then you don't shiver. When we were down in Dauphin Island, we went to the ocean and did our cold water therapy there. But because it is in the Gulf, it was, I don't know, it was a comfortable temperature. It was not cold enough to do the cold therapy. But I figure we still, it's ocean water. It's good for you. I'm still doing the cold water therapy in the mornings, taking a 10-minute shower. It's definitely getting easier as time is going on. I can't tell if that's actually getting easier because I'm getting used to it, or if it's getting easier because it's getting warmer around here, and so the groundwater temperature is warming up. As far as my writing is going, I didn't even write while we were on vacation. And then, I don't know. I was kind of in a rut just trying to do all the rewrites. So trying to get back into the habit of writing 1,000 words a day. We'll see how that goes. I did okay yesterday and the day before. Today I only wrote 500. So we'll see. I might have time to write 500 more. Just depends on how the day goes. I have an accountability partner for my Women in Ministry book now, which is really awesome. I'm trying to go back through and kind of clean it up before I send it to her. Obviously, I haven't finished it yet. It's just the first 50 pages or something like that. So trying to get it organized and look nice, and it's forcing me to go back through and, finish half sentences and things along those lines. Hopefully I will finish that up in the next couple of weeks and then be able to jump back to doing what I was working on before. So I think that's most of the stuff I was updating you guys on. I've been thinking a lot about that mastery book and what it looks like to have. And he talks about how, some of the keys of mastery are having a really good teacher, which that has been something that Evan and I have both struggled with, is finding somebody to be kind of a mentor, teacher person. And so it's something that we want. And I think next year I know next year we're definitely going to pay for coaching. We're just trying to figure out how to afford to pay for coaching. He talks about having a teacher, someone to help you along the way. And that's also one of the reasons why I was like, I need to just go to the help center, because that would make things so much easier than trying to figure it out all by myself. And then he also talks about balancing that love for the plateau and the constant daily practice, and then having goals too. So I think we're in a good place with that. The main thing I'm focusing on right now is just trying to make sure that I'm working on my goals out of overflow rather than overwhelm. And I feel like that's it. I don't know. It just depends on the day. If I'm working on epic everyday stuff and the website isn't going well, I'm definitely in overwhelm. But when I've been working on other things, I've been able to just kind of sit for a minute and be like, okay, what does overflow look like? All right. And move from that place. The other thing that I've found really interesting in the Mastery book lately, he's been talking about homeostasis and how every person and every system, every area of our lives, we have this preset. And it's a safety thing. It's a good thing. I mean, we want our heartbeat to preset back to whatever a healthy amount is. If it goes a little low because we're sleeping, a little high because we're running, like we want it to go back to the correct, whatever it's not the average, but whatever the healthy level is, kind of that thermostat for our heartbeat. And how we have a thermostat for every area of our lives. So in it, he's talking about how it's really difficult to make changes because we have this thermostat working against us, and it takes negotiating with your internal thermostat, for lack of a better word, to try to make those changes. And I've noticed that in myself if I just kind of back off, which is really hard for me to do because I've always just pushed through that little voice is like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to go read a book or curl up in bed, or, I just want to sit right now. I don't want to do the dishes. I've always just done what I'm supposed to do anyway. So trying to listen to myself and recognize that when I'm feeling that overwhelmed and when I'm feeling that little voice that's like, no, I don't want to do this, that part of that, I mean, there is an element of pushing through, but it's not just like push through. It's a negotiate. It's a listen to that part of yourself and say, why don't you want to do this? Oh, it's because you're tired today? Okay, well, do you think if you sat for 5 minutes and then did it, would that be better? So kind of talking to myself in that way, that's made a big difference. I'm practicing listening to that little voice inside of myself and negotiating with it by trying to see what's underneath that feeling and meet it halfway, which, as I said, is really different. I feel like it's better, though. It's really interesting how sometimes just, I'll think, oh, I need to go do whatever. And then part of me is like, no, I don't want to do that right now. And if I just stop for a second and say, why don't you want to do it? And hear whatever the answer is, then that part of me is like, okay, now we can go do whatever. So even just listening to myself makes such a big difference. It's hard. It's a practice. Oh, one other thing I found super interesting when he was talking about homeostasis is that it's not just, we have an internal thermostat, but there's also an external thermostat where every system, so our families, our society, like our friend groups, there's a homeostasis there too. And his example was in a family, if the father is an alcoholic and then recovers, but the family system is used to the dad getting drunk and then angry and having to kind of upend the family every weekend, then if he gets to be a recovered alcoholic, then one of the kids or the mom, someone will take over that role of being the addict who the family then has to rearrange around, because that's what the family is used to. And it's completely unconscious. So he was talking about how our families and our friends sometimes are not supportive of changes we want to make in our lives because it's, homeostasis. Like the system feels safest. Everybody feels safest if you just continue doing what the system is used to. So hopefully that can encourage you guys. If you're trying to make changes and the people in your life are not supporting you, it might not be that it's you specifically, or even what you're trying to do specifically. It might just be the homeostasis thermostat kicking back. How have you guys found is a good way to negotiate with your internal homeostatic thermostat that's trying to keep things the way they are? I hope you guys are doing all right, and I will talk to you later. Bye.